Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CSGO Clutch Podcast. My name is Adam Kona. I am your host, joined by always, joined as always with my buddy Dan Welsh. Dan, I can speak today. What's going on, bud?
Adam, it's not a bad day. It's Monday. You know, we got Blast Premiere, Spring Showdown. Can't ask for a better time,
Absolutely. It's exciting. We got our second tournament here on the podcast. And
Wow.
it's going to be a quick one, Dan. It's only a week
hmm
long. This is just to determine who the final two spots go to for the Blast Premier Spring Finals. I believe in about a month or so. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fast. It's gonna be quick. But first, Dan, we we need to talk about the elephant in the room. We need to talk
That we do, my friend.
about that insane 1v5 was it 1v5? That 1v4 clutch from Cadian with the P250. That was one of
He
the
went,
craziest things that I've seen. So I apologize, everyone, that this is a little cut off on your screens, but I'm just going to play the clip for you real quick. As soon as it wants to load. Why do you not want to load now? Here we go. Here we go.
The Cadian's decoy was still up in all this time.
Yeah.
You heard about the Cadian 1v4 with the P250?
I haven't heard of that. How does it go, Chad?
Well, it was a pretty important round. It was for
Dan, you and I were talking
the
about this
title.
pre-show.
He actually won it.
They
It's
were
that
just
bit-
having
P250.
fun
I
with
can't
this.
believe it.
Nobody was looking, and he managed to sneak his way all the way
And
through the backlines here and shoot.
I'm gonna
the
tell my
back of the
story
head.
after.
All right,
And what
watch
did he do
this.
after that? That's nuts. So he actually shoots the AWP in the back of the head without anyone looking.
Gets the AWP and kills the guy CT.
Yeah. Oh my god, he's knifed him, and he's gotten away with the AWP. I'm starting to get nervous. There's no way.
starting to get
Katie,
nervous.
you can't win Pro League like this. You can't win Pro League like this. No way.
I fucking love
Left
Machine,
40
dude.
seconds, the
Machine's
bomb's on A.
fantastic.
Take your time, son.
He's
You're
so
about to make
animated.
the play of your career.
And that it is. Well foreshadowed. The play of Cadian's career for
30
sure.
seconds now. Axel's on ramp.
This is
He's
a
got
1v1
30
now.
seconds to think this one
Cadian's
through.
been on 2
A
HP
knife kill?
since he knifed Shiro.
You can't. Cadian. He's thinking about ramp.
Crazy.
That was great to get the info
He just
right
has to
there.
hit this shot, and he's done it for Heroic. The leader. Calling well above his years, clearing corners. Oh no! You're an animal! Heroic have done it, and I just can't believe
Dude.
it. 40%
The
of their
room
team,
is shaking.
Only together since February.
That was
Oh,
that was absolutely outstanding. Just absolutely outstanding. Congratulations to my boys Heroic. I am such a Heroic fan, Dan, as you know. They are my favorite team in professional Counter-Strike. And that was one of the greatest finals that I've ever seen. That was one of the greatest games that I've ever seen. That final was 7 hours long.
Yeah, it was getting late for the boys. And then we had there were multiple maps with OTs, right? With Train on like a
Multiple maps with
quadruple
OTs.
overtime.
Train went to triple overtime.
Was it triple?
Triple! That was absolutely outstanding and insane. Congrats to Heroic. I have no words. I don't think they're the best team in the world yet. That's honor still belongs to Gambit. It's really, but Heroic have closed the gap. They really have. And the reason they've closed the gap is because if we were to break down that grand final, and we're not going to do that, we have too much to get into. But if we were to break down that grand final, Gambit overall looked like the more dominant team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heroic pulled off what they needed to. They had as crazy as this sounds, they out strategized Gambit. They outbeat them in strategy. They outbeat them in shots. They may not outbeat them in the stats, but they outbeat them where it counted and in the rounds that they needed to win. That train back and forth was exhausting. It was just ridiculous. It went all 5 maps, Dan, just like you said. And getting to Mirage, this Heroic team is showing they can beat the best and hang with the best on Mirage.
Yeah, I actually thought. I remember when you said that Mirage was going to be the final map. I'm like, I bet they win on Mirage if if it goes 5. And I think that's where I first developed my theory. But then I was like, nah, no one's going to want to actually pick Train because they won't want to be on the CT side and then or the T side to start it. And then I realized that if Train was left over, then it would just get stuck with whoever was Team A. So that didn't really make sense. So, but yeah, I was like, yeah, it's going to go 5 and go to Mirage, and
We didn't
you know,
have the map order correct, but
no, we were so off.
but I will say this: we had the bands correct. I was not
Yeah.
expecting Heroic to pick in the train. At least I don't think I did. That was odd. But hey, more power to them. Listen, Vertigo was a beatdown, 16-3. That was a beatdown. All right, Gambit, in my opinion, are the best Vertigo team in the world right now. Their Vertigo strats are solid. Their executes are fantastic. It's just is what it is. Congratulations to Heroic for winning ESL Pro League Season 13. So happy for everybody. I'm so pumped for Cadian. Man, like that clutch was just something else. I've already the ESL Twitter feed I think made a joke of like they put like the Cadian's face and then a picture of the Karambit knife on Mirage on the wall.
Oh, he got some graffiti.
That'd be nice if he could get some graffiti. I don't know if
Oh, he's
Valve will
got
do it.
to.
I don't
I mean,
know if
how could
Valve will
you?
do it, but that was legendary. That was
How could you
absolutely
not?
legendary. Um, I mean, maybe you could put a knife and an op and just have like a picture of like of a T on that side. That was absolutely outstanding. I mean, there is player graffiti like that. There's not much because again, well, there are a lot of great moments. Like that is one that's going to go down in the history books, 100%.
It
That was
has to. It
fantastic.
absolutely has to.
Yep. Anyway, again, congrats to Heroic for winning ESL Pro League Season 13. Congrats on Gambit for looking just absolutely dominant and heading into this event, Dan. The Blast Premier Spring Showdown 2021. And again, folks, I'm sorry if this is a little bit cut off your screen. I'll see if I can. I can't zoom on over and scroll over. So bear with me. You don't need to see much over here on the side anyway. Dan, this is a
Adam?
$162,500 prize pool. These teams, while the money's nice, you're playing to get one of the 2 coveted spots in the Blast Premier Spring Finals 2021. That's why you're in this tournament. The format, this is a single elimination bracket. All matches are best of 3, and the 2 top teams are proceeding on to the Blast Premier Spring Finals. Your broadcast talent for this event, and one thing that's interesting, and looks like maybe a little bit of switch up roles here for this event, Freya is going to be the desk host while James Banks is going to be the interviewer. I'm sure those 2 will be interchanged, and we'll be able to see all of them. Your analysts, once again, are Maniac and Pimp. Your commentators are the duos of Anders and Semler and Launders and Scrawny. Dan, let's talk about the teams for this event.
Yes, sir.
We have Astralis, G2, Team Liquid, OG, Team Vitality, MIBR, Furia, Gambit, Heroic, Endpoint, Dignitas, Saw, Team Spirit, Extra Salt, 9Z, and Nazar Esports. I am not too familiar with those last 2. So,
Neither am I.
this is a single elimination bracket. There are 2 sides to the bracket's broken up into 2 halves. The first part, in the round of 16, the first 8 teams that we are going to talk about real quickly. Astralis versus OG start us off. Then Endpoint versus G2. Team Spirit versus Extra Salt. And Dignitas versus Team Liquid. Dan, let's just pick our teams and let's go through this one by one, all right? So let's do this.
Okay.
Let's do it. We have... Let me just get this here for the viewers there. They can see what rounds they are. Astralis or OG?
OG.
Ballsy. I like it. I'm picking Astralis. Endpoint or G2?
G2.
Yeah, I kind of know your answer already.
Despite my previous leanings towards Endpoint, without flames, just don't see it happen.
We will get into the news in a bit because there have been was a lot of news that went down today in the world of Counter-Strike. Team Spirit or Extra Salt? Extra Salt, by the way, this Extra Salt team is a lot of the old Cloud9 roster.
Yeah, nah, Spirit, definitely.
Dignitas or Team Liquid?
I'm gonna go with Dignitas.
That is ballsy. This shouldn't be that difficult. Astralis, G2, Team Spirit, and Team Liquid, all are the ones that I am picking. So, Dan, for you, it's between OG and G2.
G2.
I'm taking Astralis to get to the round of 4. Team Spirit or Dignitas for you?
Dignitas.
Wow. It's Team Liquid for me over Team Spirit. For you, G2 or Dignitas?
G2.
Excellent. You have G2 proceeding to the Blast Premier Spring Finals.
Absolutely.
For me, it's Astralis versus Team Liquid. And I'm going to say Team Liquid edge out Astralis 2-1 and qualify for the Blast Premier Spring Finals. Bottom half of this bracket, or however you want to call it, the second half of the bracket. Team Vitality versus 9Z Team. Saw versus Heroic. Furia versus MIBR. Nazar Esports versus Gambit Esports. Dan, is it safe to say that you are picking Team Vitality over this 9Z team?
Yeah. I don't even know. I've never heard of any of these guys.
So, Team Vitality, I agree with that. Saw or Heroic?
Really?
Listen, humor me. I'm asking a question.
I mean, I guess they could have like hangover.
Oh, this team ain't having no hangover.
from their week-long party. But yeah, no, there's no way that Heroic loses.
Agreed. I have Heroic as well. Furia or MIBR?
Spicy, but I gotta go with the Fury boys.
Agreed. Nazar or Gambit?
Yeah, come on. Again.
Yeah, come on, it's not a team.
Gambit.
There you go, I agree. Team Vitality or Heroic?
I gotta go with the boys, the Heroic boys again.
I agree. Furia or Gambit?
Gambit.
Agreed. Dan, look! It's a rematch of ESL Pro League Season 13 Grand Final. Heroic versus Gambit. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Heroic boys again. Something's going on there, you know. Some magic is in the works.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Heroic, but I think Gambit ended up taking it. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how this team handles that loss. And I think that's gonna be an indicator. So let's see how they look against Nazar and Furia, and or MIBR. Before we make any kind of determination. If they look a little defeated, then, you know, Heroic should breeze right past them. Because Heroic looked dominant. But like I said, Gambit looked at the better team during that grand final for most of it in terms of style and gameplay. They overall just looked better. Heroic won the round as they needed to, based on multiple factors. And they were the better team on that day. Do I think they're the better team overall than Gambit? No. I still think Gambit overall the better team. But Heroic proved a point. Yeah. All right. With that being said, you and I both have Heroic advancing to the last Premier Spring Final. I have Team Liquid advancing to the last Premier Spring Final. You have G2 Esports. Not much else that needs to be said. This is going to be a quick event. With that being said,
I like this one.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Now, let's talk about the news that happened today. All right.
Which one?
Yeah, exactly. It was just so much. I'm heading back here to the main hltv.org page. So, as it starts right up with the first banner that comes up, Flames completes the OG lineup. I was listening to the HLTV confirmed crew today. And
oh yeah, me too.
I really liked what they all said. I think it was Prof too, professor who was talking about it, and he's that aggressive rifler that OG have been missing. I would agree with that statement. Flames is he's the rifler that's gonna help OG out. His style of
Oh.
gameplay is going to help.
Yeah, let's for shits and giggles. What is what's his impact rating versus I guess Issa?
Flames overall rating of 1.08. He's only 17. This is his 1.05. He's 24. But again, this
What's it?
is... I can't exactly give it to you. This is just lifetime stats that I'm just pulling up real quick.
I was just looking for impact. So he's got an impact of 1.18, which is actually pretty decent
Does he? Very
compared
nice.
to and then Issa is so, and for me the impact means it's multi-kill rounds that lead to wins usually.
Mm-hmm.
So it means that he's actually winning rounds with his gun, which is obviously very important because he's not just cleaning up at the end.
Yep. So that's a big piece of news. So we're going to see Flames' debut for OG versus Astralis. And Dan, you and I will get into that a little bit more when we do the DFS breakdown. Second piece of news, might as well just kind of go in order how they came out. Meechu is set to join Evil Geniuses. That came out of nowhere. So the rumor, well, not the rumor, the assumed rumor, I guess, is Tarek's going to be benched or leaving the team, and Meechu's taking Tarek's place.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're obviously not getting rid of Stanislaw, your coach. Tarek isn't benched to this point. This has not been made official. This is rumor. Okay, this is all rumor that Meechu is going to be signing with Evil Geniuses. So the roster will be Breezy, Cirque, without we're assuming there's no Tarek, Stanislaw, Obo, and Meechu. Will be very, very interesting. Huge upgrade for Evil Geniuses, in my opinion. Again, this is a team that is still apparently trying to replace Ethan.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, that was the first piece. That was the next piece of news. So, I like the move. You?
Yeah. I mean, I think he kind of goes along with what. And then I watched Tarek streaming and kind of like talking about it, and it sounds like he's next to go to Valorant. I don't know if he was
Oh,
joking
don't
about
say
that.
such things.
Yeah. No, I mean, you made some good points. Like there was some synergy with him and Ethan, and that probably impacted him negatively. So
I mean, again, we'll see. I think the Meechu edition is a great addition. Should be a higher
yeah.
fragger than Tarek has been recently.
Mhm.
All right. Next piece of news. Team Vitality are going to bench RPK after the Blast Premier Spring Showdown. RPK is still on this roster for this event. He'll be benched afterwards, and Vitality have come out and signed Kyojin. I know nothing about this kid. I don't know if anyone knows anything about this kid. Dan, do you know anything about this kid? Scouting report?
Just what we looked at right before. He was on Heretics towards the end of 2020, so he's not even part of the team when they were like, doing pretty well with Maka and Kiyoshima and those guys. But maybe he replaced Nivera, and then somehow, I don't know, through like nepotism, they picked him up because of, I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
I
It's
find it
obviously I'm not.
what I
I'm just
find
making theories right
interesting.
now.
So, again, listening to HLTV Confirmed, highly recommend everyone go out there and listen to the HLT Confirmed interview with MSL, who was on the podcast today. And MSL, formerly of North. So, they were kind of talking about this. The reason Nivera isn't coming back in is Nivera and RPK play different roles. Nivera is not an anchor role. Apparently, Kyojin's being brought in to replace RPK in that anchor role. That's sums up kind of sort of what I heard, off and on as I was listening to it. So, and this is a quote from the article, and Professor's the one who posted this. So part of this article here on hltv.org is team coach quote, team coach Remy XTQZZZ, and I don't even know how to pronounce that name. So Kyonem, anyway, described their new signing as quote as a quote unique player unquote with quote untapped talent and tremendous potential end quote, and hopes to quote help him grow into the steps of his predecessor end quote. Again, he's being brought in to be an anchor to replace RPK. I know nothing about this kid. So he's 22 years old. He's not as young as Masuda. Complete stats all time. He's played 19 maps officially, Dan. 19 official maps. Over those 19 maps, he has a 1.03 kill to death ratio, ADR of 76.3, an impact rating of 1.07 with a 1.09 rating overall, a KPR of 0.68, and again, only 19 maps played. I know nothing much about this kid. If they're bringing him in to replace RPK, they clearly think high of him.
Agreed. So I also listened to the HLTV confirmed with oh my god, the IGL for Vitality. I'm blanking on his name.
Apex.
Apex, yeah. And it sounded like that RPK is he's really skilled mechanically, but takes a lot of like hand holding even in matches, and doesn't necessarily hasn't really bought into some of the utility strategy part of the game. So I mean, if he's even close to RPK's talent, then he might be able to, if he has some of that other skill set, he might be able to really do well.
It'll be interesting to see for sure. Final piece of news, and again, a lot of news. Excuse me. Sunny and Flusha finally have their team up complete. They have a new international roster. So it's going to be Sunny and Flusha teaming up with Sergey, formerly of Ents, Esperanto, formerly of Contact, and Calyx on a trial period. Thoughts?
Not right now. It's been a long time since I've seen any of those guys. But I do remember MSL on North with, we'd always I'd like watching like him and AZ and Kirby, and
Yep.
they were a good team.
Calyx
Fun to
used to
watch.
be on Envy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So again, Calyx was only on a trial basis. So they did
Okay.
want to add Automatic, but he automatic switched to Valorant. So
Right.
with that being said, your roster complete looks as Sunny, Flusha, Sergey, Esperanto, and Calyx. Is it bad of me to say that Esperanto and Calyx are the most talented on that team?
I can't comment, Adam. Not too sure.
So I just find that it's a roster with no official team, to my knowledge. So this is the roster. I don't know if they're going to be looking for a team or whatever, but this is definitely an interesting piece of news. So with that being said, let's head over to, like we always do, and recap the winning lineup from the previous main slate before. And since, Dan, it was the grand final, it was Heroic versus Gambit. It was just a showdown slate. It was $2,000 to first place. There was a 5-way tie for first. $636 to each of the winners. And it was a 2-2 that took it down, which I actually find pretty interesting. So Captain Shiro and Captain Cadian were the captains you needed. I don't know why Cadian doesn't have a 1v4 clutch there. How did they not give him the 1v4 clutch?
I think it's hidden.
There's a good possibility it's hidden. I mean, a lot of stats, and they probably only get so much text. Hobbit was the other Gambit player you needed. And Refresh was the other heroic that ended up being on the winning lineup. Not really much to say here. We've already kind of talked about the grand final a bit. Definitely a lineup you could have ended up on. And a lot of things had to happen for a 2-2 to go like this. Dan, like you said pre-show, that Vertigo beatdown for starters. So, but Cadian kept it competitive the entire time. And Refresh, the kid's got talent. They just have to continue to draw it out of him, and he's only going to get better. He is young as well.
Yep.
Alrighty, Dan, are you ready to break down the Blast Premier Spring Showdown Day 1? You ready? You pumped? You excited?
Get it. I'm super pumped.
I get it.
Super pumped.
Listen, I get it. It's not Group D from ESL Pro League Season 13, but come on. Get pumped. Get excited. Let's go. Game 1. Slate starts at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We start off with OG versus Astralis. Astralis are expensive.
And guess what, Adam?
Here we go.
They're still old.
Here we go.
They did not get any younger.
What are you doing with OG and Astralis on this? And don't tell me you're not playing Astralis because they're old.
No, because it's still technically, I mean, OG's not technically black, but, I mean, they're kind of like a grayish blue,
this is
right?
DFS, not roulette.
Yeah, I'm sticking to that theory.
Oy vey.
But again, it's not easy. I mean, like you have a new Flames who's good, has a high impact, replacing Issa who had a high ping. You know, they just signed him, so they barely practiced. And then on the other hand, you have a washed up crew of Astralis, and who's still very good. I really can see it going either way.
I can too. But let me just put this as a word of caution. Teams need time to integrate pieces. Flames just signed a couple of days ago. Heroic at least had those two signed and had enough time to scrim before Pro League. Then they got up against one of the weaker groups, and some of them carried each other, namely the main three kind of carried each other and carried the team. Then they had a multi-week gap in between getting to the play-in stage. All the time they had to practice and scrim and learn strats. Clearly you could tell it paid off. Heroic never lost a game. They were undefeated. I think OG, while Flames is really talented, talent's only going to get you so far because you still have to have the strategies. And I think Pappy and I were chatting about this earlier back in the main event Discord. And we were kind of saying, like, he was like, okay, we're going to play OG. I'm like, you have to understand. While I get OG is great for DFS purposes, and they're one of the best leverage spots on the slate. Incorporating new players. Nico's still new to this team. Yeah, he's played with them. He stood in, but that was as a stand-in. So he has kind of sort of an idea, but it takes time to incorporate how you want players to play. We're not going to see Mirage. That's Astralis' permaban. Don't even think about it. You're not going to get no Alexi B magic. You're just not going to see it. I think we see Inferno. I can argue you can see Train. There's a chance we see Overpass. There's a chance we see Vertigo. There's a chance we see Nuke. Because OG is so new, I don't know how Alexi is going to want to approach this with their coach in terms of the maps. Alexi now has only two other good players on his team that know the strats, know how they want their nades, know how they want everywhere to go, who's doing what on what map. You don't have the luxury with that with Flames joining 3 days ago. Nico's been with the team, sure, but that's 4 players instead of 5. Now you have the full 5. Now you can actually put people where you want them. So is Nico going to anchor? What side is he going to anchor? Is Flames just going to go lurk all around the map? Are you going to have Flames anchor? Are you going to have Flames entry? How is he going to enter? What do you want him to do? Like, there were strategies and stuff behind the scenes from a strat standpoint that you're not going to see in stats. OG overall for DFS purposes, to me, are somewhere you may have to go because of pricing. You can go because of leverage. I think OG they really could win this. They could win this 2-1. It has to go 3 maps. I don't think OG sweep Astralis. If OG sweep Astralis, hit the panic button on Astralis. And you better get them back to land quickly. What do you think, Dan?
I'm not changing my song, Adam. I still think that there's
They're not old!
one problem. That's that that they're old.
They're not old!
And that Device is Device just, he's really good, obviously, and he has a lot of he's very talented, but I don't think he's there anymore. Like I don't know. They're ripe for the picking.
All right, so here we go. For what it's worth, here are the odds for tomorrow, according to Pinnacle. Astralis are a minus 285 favorite. G2 are a minus 390 favorite. Team Liquid are a minus 311 favorite. Those are going to be your chalk teams, folks. The problem is all the good players are very heavily priced up. So, Dan, I'm just going to go over pricing from 10,000 to 8,000, all right?
Okay.
Device is 10,000. Nico from G2 is 9,800. Elige, 9,400. Dupree is 9,200. $9,200 for Dupree. Hunter is 9,000. Hunter finally getting the price increase he deserves.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little expensive at 9,000. Naf's at 8,800. Magisk is at 8,400. Valde is at 8,200. Jax is at 8,000. You are going to have an extremely tough time playing multiple elite players from these teams due to pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Glaive is 7,200, for example. Stewie 2K, 6.8K. Grim is 5.8K. Zipnix, 6,000. Thomas is more expensive than Zipix. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And I want to let everyone know, too. Just gonna get this out there. DraftKings did not remove a lot of players from the player pool that they should have. Okay? Issa and NBK are no longer on OG. Do not play them. They will accrue 0 points. Just saying. So, OG or Astralis, Dan, how are you approaching this game?
Well, Adam, I'm just gonna have to go back to what I've said 2 times already now, and that's that Astralis is old, and OG has a grayish black jersey, which is close to black, and I'm continuing to bet on black.
So your logic is play OG because they're somewhat similar to black, and Astralis are old.
Yeah, and then that was my last theory, and it worked perfectly. So, sticking to it. To be honest with you, Adam, it's a hard one. This is a very difficult one because of what you just described. The money and the pricing of Astralis is difficult. The matchup for OG is difficult. It seems like very trappy to me. But there are plays that I like. I think on both sides. Just I mean, Device obviously just because he's Device and he's really good.
Good luck fitting him with 10,000.
But yeah, exactly. And then so is there someone else on the slate around that price that's could pay off more? And I
Nico.
think yeah,
Hunter.
that's
Elise.
well, Hunters. Okay. Yeah, so enough said. So fading Device I think is logical and maybe rational.
Also
For
could
this
be,
slate.
from a GPP standpoint, if you're MMEing, he could be really low owned considering the other players in this range.
Oh, I bet, dude. Especially, I mean, like what would it be like? The expected payoff from a Device in this slate is probably really high for a GPP because of that ceiling. So, and the potential for low ownership, I would say, is good.
My opinion, and again, this is something that I want to start taking a look at, maybe start gathering some data. I want to see what players at what salary need how many points to truly pay off their price tag and exceed their price tag. Kind of like in basketball, you're looking at 5x the player's salary for points. And that's for cash. For GPPs, you really want them to hit that 6x, 7x ceiling.
Yeah, but Counter Strike is different because there's a really good chance that the opposing team could score just as well. Where Counter Strike,
Exactly.
It's almost relative to the field. Like you can't really use that 10x or 5x approach. It's like
I just think it'd be another tool that we could put in our lineup building belt. If we also look at the opportunity cost. How much is Device going to need at 10,000 to pay off that price tag? Compared to if we can combo a couple others. Like if I were to combo Nico Hunter and get a couple of punts that go off, or would I rather do Device and Dupree or in a tougher matchup? And what do they need for pricing? And they're higher. And I just think it'd be an interesting, thing to know. So anyway, the reason we're kind of
I'm
spending a
sure
little
there's
bit of... Go ahead.
I'm sure there's a some kind of a ratio that would explain it really nicely because you can't I really don't think that you can be like I want 500 points.
Yep.
And to get 500 points, I need 100 from Device, I need 90 from Dupree, and if Jax doesn't or if Mnek doesn't get 60, then I'm screwed. Because it's because of the outcomes are so volatile throughout, and maybe the fields are so small. Maybe in larger fields that works, but because we always have like 3 games or 2 games, it doesn't work.
Gotcha. All right.
But I think from like a high level that it does work. Like having that thinking is pretty good.
It's
because then you're not
another tool to have in the belt to evaluate.
Yeah, you're not like you're not desperately looking for yeah, I mean, I don't know. You're just looking for value, which is good.
Yep. Alrighty, so the reason we're spending a lot of time on this game is I think this game is the key to the slate.
I would have to agree. Yeah.
Because I think G2 sweep endpoint, and I think Team Liquid sweep Dignitas. There you go. Hashtag analysis. Next two games done. Bye, everybody. See ya. Bye. No. So, but again, the reason we're taking time talking about, we're talking about the strategy behind it. There's other things that go into lineup building that you have to take into consideration. If you are playing OG, well, are you going to take the chance on Flames on 3 days of being with this team and take them based on pure talent against one of the best teams in the world? Or are you going to go with the known quantities of Valde, Mantu, and Alexi B, and to a point Nico? Like, you have to make your evaluation. So, if I'm ranking them for OG, it's Valde 1, Nico 2, Mantu 3, Flames 4, and Alexi B 5. With Flames on this roster, and I think, again, the HLTV confirmed folks said it today, he's not going to have to high frag as much. Flames is the missing piece that OG have needed. So it'll be interesting to see how this team comes together, but they're still new. So just be very careful with your lineup construction. Valde is $8,200 for good reason. He's been the best player on OG recently. Nico's dirt cheap at $5,600. Love that price tag. Take advantage of that for sure. But you have anything else you want to say in this game before we move on? All of Astralis for me are in play, by the way. except for Bubsky.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, same here. I wouldn't want to, like, I would never want to steer anyone away from any of the Astralis boys, especially in this matchup, because it's certainly a good one for them. But I think it's a hedge spot. So if I'm playing multiple single entries, I would do 2 OG in one, and then 2 Astralis in another one, without trying to impact the rest of my build too much.
Yep.
Which
And again, for the
would
same.
probably
Go ahead.
was that. No, I was gonna say it would probably result in me fading Device, Dupree, Magisk, and only really sticking to, like,
The cheaper ones.
I guess, yeah, the cheaper guys. But I mean, I in order to make that work, I'd probably have to play a Device in, like, somebody cheap, just because like, I don't think I could avoid that if I wanted to get two Astralis.
Yep. Device Zipix could be a popular build tomorrow just because of price.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that being said, there's one last thing. I don't think Bubsky plays at all. I think they got to figure out the ways to do that without getting penalized. If he plays, and we all play a lot of Astralis, we're just going to lose money.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what that's a key component that we have no answers to. They are the first game of the day, for what it's worth. So, I maybe if you listen to something on the announce desk, maybe they know something. I don't know. I mean, I'm not worried about Bubsky subbing in for anybody. I don't think there's a sub risk in this game. Anyway, with that being said, folks, hit that like button. We appreciate you all tuning in. I know we're almost 42 minutes in here. And we really appreciate it. Hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. Hit the subscribe button. Really helps us out. We want to make this podcast bigger and better. And hit that notification bell. That way you all know every single time one of these podcasts drop. Follow Dan on Twitter at Wandelch, WANDELCH. You can follow me on Twitter at AdamWX21. Dan, let's get into the second game here. This should not take too long. We should be breezing through the rest of these games. G2 versus Endpoint. Again, gonna say this again. Kenny S is not, I don't know why he's in the player pool. Kenny S is not on the G2 roster. Oh, sorry. He's not on the G2 active roster. He's been benched. Dan, one of my favorite plays on the slate is Amanek at 6,000.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. And I think he's going to be super chalky, but whatever. I think...
If Amanek is chalk on this slate, I'll be shocked.
Really? You don't think at 6,000 with just the way he's been playing in the matchup and all that?
I think people are going to try just jamming in as many of the higher end G2 endpoint, the G2 players and the Team Liquid players.
Amanek makes a lot of work, though. That's
he does make
kind
a lot
of
of work, but he's also one of my favorite players in the slate. Because it's endpoint, no disrespect to your boys endpoint. Just because it's endpoint, the only real threat on this team now is Crucial. Maybe Robin. Thomas is okay. I just think Amanek, when he starts willing that double op, I think this team's gonna do really well. And for what it's also worth, Nico and Hunter are a virtual tie for me for second.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard before the grand final, Kassad was talking about Hunter in like a really nice way, saying that he was, definitely in the the top 10 or top 5 in the world right now.
With the way Hunter's been playing, top 10 for sure. He's the reason G2 have been in a lot of these games. Sorry, Nico. No disrespect to Nico. Hunter's the reason G2's been in a lot of competitive games. Because there have been maps, and we've seen it, Dan, where Hunter just takes G2 on his back and just frags and frags and frags. So, what are you doing with G2 and Endpoint?
So G2 kind of, I'm probably going to stick to a max of 2 because I just have not had a good history with them, scoring well. And they get away with wins, but they just, those guys don't. Some of those guys don't always do well, except for Hunter recently, and then occasionally Nico's gone crazy. And then, but yeah, back to I mean, Jax is way too over. He's overpriced as their entry fragger.
I think
And then
Jax at
Amnek.
8,000 is okay and a great GPP play. For what it's worth, because of the high price tag, and because he could probably be he's probably the lowest owned of all the 5 on G2.
Let me clarify. So for GPP purposes, yeah, definitely Jax is in play, but not for a single entry.
Right. And again, this is where, for anyone new listening to the show, welcome. I typically play large field GPPs. That's like my mindset. I love that kind of stuff. I love the strategy involved in it, the leverage, the ledge, and chasing after the big prizes. Dan, you're a single entry player.
Yep.
So you're gonna approach it with a little bit more safety because your fields aren't as large as mine. So you're gonna get a little bit different and use some GPP strategy. But you're not gonna go way out there crazy. Like if I were to tell you I'm seriously considering captaining Almanac on this slate. Maybe that's not something you do for, typically in a single entry because you want to make sure you get the most points out of your captain like I do. But I'm going to take that shot of Almanac going off and fitting in the rest of the other guys. Right? Like,
I do that from time to time. I used to captain Issa once in a while because he was always so underpriced.
listen, captaining Issa was always a fun time.
I mean,
What is playing Issa when he goes off for like those 70 frags was just, it's a wonderful thing.
And if it didn't work, you'd be like, whatever, I'm done for the day. And then if you did, but if you did, you're like, no shit, like I'm gonna win like I'm gonna cash at everything because he'd be like 5% in the captain and have 100 points. And then if you had paired him with other OG and they came through, then you're sitting pretty. So I'm gonna miss those days, Mr. Issa. Thank you for that.
He
that was
will
a good
find
time.
another team for sure.
Oh yeah.
So is it safe to say all 5 at G2 are in play for you?
Not Jax for me.
Okay, so everyone but Jax.
Yeah, and I'm even actually gonna say that Nico is a little bit expensive relative to some other players.
Yeah, 9,800 is a lot for him.
I mean, on phase maybe I could see it, but there's a lot of volatility there.
Absolutely.
Well, so
what about endpoint?
And then the whole like Krieg versus Op versus
Listen,
never really
into
know.
Krieg has been fun to watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just some volatility,
Yep.
That's all.
What about the endpoint side of things?
Robin. Mighty Max not impressed with. Thomas is good. I guess Crucial. I mean, if you're getting crazy, but I am not going to be going anywhere near endpoint unless I can't fit anybody less than like 5,500. So I have to play Robin because I don't think there's anybody else that's that cheap.
Gotcha.
That I would play.
Endpoint for me is only in play for mass multi entries. That's it.
Yeah, that.
If you I mean, get some exposure to endpoint just in case endpoint end up pulling off an upset. 9 out of 10 times G2 win this game.
Yeah, they were looking pretty good in the whatever tournament we just watched.
Yep, ESL Pro League.
ESL Pro. Sorry, it's getting late. My brain's not firing all.
We're gonna fly through this last game here. Team Liquid versus Dignitas. Play Team Liquid.
So, before I speak, play Team Liquid. But so I don't know if you've seen any Dignitas of recent, but they've been looking pretty good. And now they have Lecro and Heap. Heap is a high impact guy. And he's very good. I mean, I really honestly don't think that they can beat Liquid. But there's a chance. So for DFS, it's like Dumb and Dumber. there's always, as long as there's that chance, like that's enough sometimes for me to take a shot. And I'm sure Mr. Pat Mearson would agree on that strategy, but I don't want to put words in his mouth. So
We will have Pappy on the show soon enough. I like where you're going with it. I thank you for sticking up for Team Dignitas. It's Team Liquid. Team Liquid should stomp Dignitas. I'd be surprised if Dignitas won more than 10 rounds on a map, on any map. I think Team Liquid.
Yeah, it's not gonna be pretty.
I think this is a team that we saw how good Team Liquid are. They came close to beating to going on to a long run until they ran into Heroic. In the ESL Pro League Season 13 playoffs. So it's I don't know. So you want to start building your lineups around G2 or Team Liquid, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree.
Strategy wise for this slate, 3-2-1 or 2-2-2. I would not advise a 3-3.
Yeah, 3-3s they don't typically work in the 3 gamers.
Yep. So a 3-2-1 or 2-2-2. But again, pricing on the slate's going to dictate a lot. Dignitas have been good. They're just not on the level with one of the 5 best teams in Counter-Strike right now.
Right.
And I'd put Liquid like that 5 spot. You could argue 5 to 8. Dave just looks really, really good. They look better than Navi. I said it. I said it. Anyway, with that being said, Elise, now Fallen, Stewie 2K, Grim, all in play. Dignitas for me, Lekro, Forest, Heap, Halzerk, Freiburg, in that order. I'm not going to get cute. Dignitas also MME only. Large field GVP only as well, just like Endpoint. Not much analysis there, but Team Liquid should
I think
stomp.
that's a good. I think that's a good mantra for tomorrow. Is just definitely don't get too cute because it's single elimination. Get some heavy hitters against some not so heavy hitters. And
Yep.
Maybe get unique or different in different spots. Not Dignitas, not even maybe even OG, but I'm sure there's ways you could get unique.
Yep. Then with that being said, core value GPP segment of the show. One of each. Go for it.
Core, I'm gonna go with NAF.
Ooh, I like it.
Value, I'm gonna go with Senior Amanek. And then GPP is going to be Nexa.
I like that call.
Thanks.
Very much like that call. Core play for me on this slate is going to be a combo of Nico and Hunter. Again, they're a virtual tie for me because I can't pick one or the other. I can make arguments for both. Value play, I agree with Amanek. I agree with that call. GPP play, I don't want to give you all G2 players. So I'm going to go GPP play Nico from OG.
You can almost say that's a value too.
Yeah, definitely a value for the 600 for sure.
Yeah.
Also, for what it's worth, Meechu is a value at 6,400.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Grim at 5,800. Thomas at 62. Zipix at 6,000. Sorry, go ahead. You were saying?
No, I was gonna say especially if the Astralis happen to pick Train and he starts off on the CT side, that's always a good thing. But
yeah,
I don't know did you see his top 10? What was it, like a P250 clutch on HLTV? It was pretty nasty.
Who, Device or Manto?
Oh, Mantra, yeah.
I did not.
Check it out. It's pretty good.
Yep.
He's looking good.
There you go. Check that out, folks. Dan, who's your favorite team stack on this slate? Give me a bold prediction and we'll get out of here.
Team stack's gonna be a Liquid.
Okay.
Bold prediction. Oh man. I didn't think about this one too much. Like Endpoint wins. Endpoint beats G2.
I like it. My favorite team stack on the slate is G2. And my bold prediction is OG beat Astralis 2-1. Even bolder, OG beat Astralis 2-0. If that happens, hit the panic button for Astralis.
Yeah, that's possible. I would say that's more likely than Dignitas being Liquid.
Yeah. OG are a really good team. I think if they beat Astralis 2-0, hit the panic button. And then Astralis, they'll be sitting there wondering themselves, when is land coming back? So I don't think anything happens to this core 5 until land comes back. Completely different dynamic. With that being said, Dan, any last minute thoughts on this slate before we get out of here?
In the words of Smix, good luck, have fun.
Well said, sir. Well said. Good luck on this, everybody. Have fun. Win some money. We'll be back for Blast Premier Showdown Day 2. Spring Showdown Day 2. Latest, peoples.